To our special coverage now of the Treadmill abuse murder trial going on in New Jersey. I'm Michael Ayala. Christopher Gregor is accused of first-degree murder in the death of his 6-year-old son, Corey Micciolo. Now, prosecutors don't believe that the treadmill incident caused Corey's death, but they say it was all part of chronic abuse. Now, on the stand now is a triage nurse. She's at the medical center where the defendant brought Corey. This is April 2nd, the day he passed away. So let's get you back inside that courtroom.
Calling your attention to April 2nd of 2021 at approximately 3:48 p.m. was a patient brought to the emergency room named Corey Micciolo.
Yes.
And can you tell the court who brought Corey into the emergency room?
Gregor.
And ultimately, did you learn the relationship of Gregor and Corey?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors what the relationship was?
Gregor is Corey's father, and Corey is Chris's son.
And where were you when you first saw Mr. Gregor with Corey?
I was in the waiting room. I was speaking to another patient at the time. I'm right near the door, speaking to another patient. I did not hear any commotion. I did not hear any urgent sound that would redirect my attention. A registrar came up to me and said, "Bill, you have to look at this." So I went over to Corey, and he was in the arms of Chris at the waiting room entrance, or just past the waiting room entrance near the desk.
Now, the first time that you observed the defendant with Corey, can you explain to the jurors the position of Corey in relation to the defendant?
Corey was over. Corey was in Chris's arms. His arms were over Chris's shoulders. His legs were dangling. His arms did not look like they had much movement to them. His legs did not look like they had much movement to him. His head was rested on Chris's shoulder. His head was his face was difficult to visualize. So when I first approached them, I knew that something was concerning, but I couldn't see everything I needed to see. So I was depending on Chris to convey a sense of urgency or unwellness that I did not get from him at first. It was more of a clinical description of what was going on, and I did not immediately feel I had to rush them back. I definitely knew it was concerning, but I needed just a little more information. If I saw Corey's face right away, it would have been much easier. But Corey's face was on Chris's shoulder.
So the first time that you made this observation, that would be the two of them would have been in the lobby area.
Yes.
And did you approach the defendant in the lobby area of the emergency room?
Yes.
And what immediate observations were you able to make of Corey in the lobby area?
So I went over to them, and I was splitting my attention between Chris and Corey. What I could tell was that there wasn't a lot of spontaneous movement from Corey. He was not really moving on his own. He appeared to have a lack of tone to his muscles, and there was a lot of support coming from Chris in keeping him in the position that he was in.
Did you speak to the defendant in the lobby area of the emergency room?
Yes.
And would this be a practice or a common practice to engage in something like that?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors what the defendant said?
Chris told me that he introduced himself, who he was. He was the father, he was the son, and he told me that this was around 3, nearly 4 p.m. He told me that earlier in the day, around 9 a.m., his son was dropped off to him, was with his mother the night before. He did tell me that the patient was at Jersey Shore University Hospital and had a workup and was discharged. And just a side note, once you hear that, less than 12 hours later, you kind of go, okay, like maybe he's not that sick, so I need more information, so talk more. So Chris told me that earlier that morning he appeared loopy, he was very drowsy, and he put him to bed. And later in the afternoon, Corey continued to be loopy and drowsy. And when all that time passed and he was still fatigued and not himself, that's when he brought him into the ER. So that's what he told me.
After you made your initial observations and you spoke to the defendant, can you tell the jurors what you did next regarding Corey's care?
Can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
I said after you made your observations in the lobby and spoke to the defendant, what did you do next regarding Corey's care?
I continued the history taking, which is pretty standard as a triage nurse to get history from the patient. And I would have spoken to Corey, but he was not in a place to speak. He was not making any sound hardly. I continued my brief conversation with Chris until there was a moment when Corey tilted his head back, and that's when I got what I needed to see to really kick up the speed on this emergency.
So where was Corey taken at that point?
He was taken to the emergency room. Once I saw that, then I rushed it. So I called, his eyes were in the back of his head, he didn't look well, he was pale. I called the charge nurse immediately after that, and then I got a room, and being that Chris was holding him well, I didn't waste time getting a stretcher or a wheelchair. I said, hey, you okay to go to the ER? He goes, yes, and we went to the ER, to room 6, the emergency room.
What room did you go to in the emergency room?
Room 6.
And while you were in room 6 of the emergency room, can you tell the jurors who else came into that room?
So I already alerted help, so they were waiting for me. In that room was various emergency nurses and our ER physician and a patient care tech.
And what, if anything, did the defendant say while you were in room 6?
At that time, now that as a triage nurse, my role was to get them to help, get the patient to help. So at that time, I focused more on Corey than the conversation with Chris. But that's because that our ER physician was speaking with Chris, getting essentially what I just got from Chris. He basically reiterated the story, how he was loopy and tired all day, and how he felt concerned that he didn't kind of shake out of that. So he brought him into the emergency room. He told him about the Jersey Shore hospital visit the night before, but it was more. I was working on Corey at the time.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do regarding the treatment of Corey?
So we placed him on the heart monitor. Before that, we took off his clothes. That's when I noticed the bruise on his chest, and we still had to act quickly. So we put the heart monitor on him. I got an IV, drew blood from him, while the rest of the team was doing their various roles, including our physician who was talking to Chris.
What was the defendant's demeanor while you were in room 6?
While we were in room 6 was similar to when I first interacted with him in the waiting room. It was just, I would say it was a clinical aspect in that he was describing what was going on without much more difference than anyone else would, regardless of their role with the person. So he was conveying the information, but there wasn't much more than that.
And after you drew blood from Corey, where did you go after that?
Well, Corey required a lot of attention, so we still had an emergency room to run. So I told the charge nurse, I'll take the charge phone, which handles the ambulances. You focus on this. So I handled the charge nurse and the triage phone, and I went to various things throughout the ER while everyone worked on Corey. He was like an all hands on deck type of situation.
I'm sorry, I could not hear that, Judge.
He was an all hands on deck type of situation.
Okay, I'm now showing you what has been marked S48A. Do you recognize that?
Yes,
And can you tell the jurors what that is?
that is a video of that
Let
day.
me stop you right there. Is that actually a CD?
Oh, I'm sorry, that is a CD. Yes,
And are you familiar with the contents of that CD?
yes,
And have you reviewed the contents of that CD before you come to court?
yes.
And can you tell the jurors what is located on that CD?
That is a video of hospital security footage from that day.
And that would be on April 2nd of 2021.
Yes,
And that would be at the time when Corey was brought into the emergency room.
yes,
And are you familiar with the persons depicted on this video?
yes,
And are you familiar with the location depicted in this video?
yes.
Your Honor, permission to move S48A into evidence and to publish, please.
Any objection?
No objection.
S48A in evidence.
Your Honor, permission to publish.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, in regard to the video that we just viewed, did you observe the defendant coming into the hospital lobby area?
In the video,
Not in the video, but from where you were located at the time in the hospital?
the day of, I did not see him until he was already in the waiting room.
Okay. And I'm now going to approach with S48B. And do you recognize this?
Yes,
And can you tell us what that is?
that was a CD.
And what is contained on that CD?
A video of hospital security footage from that day, April 2nd.
Okay, and you reviewed the contents of this.
Yes,
And this is a following video from the video that we just saw, being S48A.
yes,
And are you depicted in this video?
I am.
And are you familiar with the location of the video?
Yes,
Your Honor, permission to move into evidence and publish.
Any objection? Seeing none, S48B in evidence.
Thank you.
All right, so quick timeline for you folks. That's about 3 or 4 in the afternoon on April 2nd. Now remember, Mom took him to the emergency room. He was discharged, Corey was, at 1 a.m., and that's the morning of April 2nd. She then takes him over to the father. So just a few hours later, that's what he looks like in his father's arms, and eventually, shortly thereafter, will have a seizure. So something happened in that time frame. And when he left the emergency room with Mom, he had a clean bill of health, basically. The doctor said that there wasn't, except for some bruises, he was in pretty good shape. All right, we'll take a break. We'll have more. So keep it here on Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, we're live from Dedham, Massachusetts, as the trial of accused cop killer Karen Reed continues. We'll bring you an in-depth look at every move of the defendant, Karen Reed, the morning after John O'Keefe died. And we'll preview tomorrow's important jury view as we continue our coverage of the Karen Reed murder trial.
Closing Arguments with Vinnie Politan, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Welcome back. We're bringing you special coverage of the Treadmill abuse murder trial going on in Idaho. Now, when we left off, the jury was watching surveillance video of the defendant bringing his son to the ER. So let's get you back to court.
Now, is that you depicted in that video?
Yes.
And does that video accurately depict your conversation you had with the defendant on that day?
Yes.
And do you see the person you spoke to that day on that video?
Yes.
And what would that person's name be?
Gregor.
And do you also see Corey on that video?
Yes.
I'm now going to show what's been marked S48C. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors what that is, please?
That is a CD which contains video of hospital security footage from that day, April 2nd.
And is that another surveillance video following the previous video, which would have been taped?
Yes.
And you're familiar with that video?
Yes.
And you've seen it before you've come to court today?
Yes.
And you're actually depicted in this video?
I am.
Your Honor, permission to move into evidence S48C and to publish?
Objection. S48C in evidence.
Now, is that you depicted in that video?
Yes. Yeah.
And
I
is that
walked into-
Christopher Gregor depicted in that video?
Yes.
And is that Corey depicted in the video?
Yes.
And does that accurately depict you taking Corey into room 6 of the emergency room at the
Yes.
hospital? No other questions, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes. Good afternoon. Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
when you were working in the emergency room in 2021, were you a nurse practitioner then?
No, registered nurse still.
And how long had you been a registered nurse at that point?
7 years.
When you were assigned to triage, because you had the 7 years, I assume you had obviously the 1 year of necessary experience to work in triage.
Yeah.
And you had certifications from ENA and AHA.
Yes.
And just for the jury, AHA is what?
AHA is the American Health Association.
Or what about ENA?
Oh, Emergency Nurse Association.
Thank you. Now, when you first put your eyes on Corey, fair to say he was cleanly dressed, correct?
Yes.
Now, you saw or talked about during direct the 2 video or 3 video clips that we watched, correct?
Yes.
Did you watch any other videos in this case?
No.
Any other videos from the hospital?
No.
Is it fair to say when Corey got out of the vehicle, he stepped out of the vehicle?
I can't say that.
When you watched the video before, did you see him start to walk?
That did not look like that to me.
And when Mr. Gregor went into the hospital, he went straight in to the hospital, correct?
Mm-hmm.
When he parked
Yes,
his car, oh, sorry.
I'm going to say yes.
I appreciate that. When Mr. Gregor parked his car, he parked at the front of the hospital.
Yes.
And do you know, how long had you been working at that hospital at that point?
7 years.
And is it normal practice for a patient to park and leave their car in the front of the hospital?
In a situation that's emergent, I wouldn't say normal, but it's understandable.
And at the time that you approached Corey and Mr. Gregor, did you realize that he had left his car at the front of the hospital?
No, that thought didn't come to my mind.
Fair enough. When you approached Mr. Gregor, he had a mask on, correct?
Believe so, yes.
And you saw from the video somebody handed him that mask to put on as
Yes.
he entered the hospital?
I believe so.
So you could hear his voice, but you couldn't see his lips moving, correct?
Well, it was kind of, you can see in the videos, it looked a little down,
Down under the nose?
at least.
Do you recall seeing his lips moving?
I can't recall.
Now, at one point during the video, you actually picked up, it looked like you picked up Corey's left arm. What were you doing at that point?
So I assisted the registrar to put on the wristband, and I was also feeling for a pulse.
And during the course of your direct, you indicated that you had learned during your conversation with Mr. Gregor that Corey had been discharged the night before from a different hospital, correct?
Yes.
So your concern lessened a little bit,
Temporarily, for a second.
because you knew another doctor had at least seen Corey.
Staff, not just doctor.
From a hospital had seen
Yeah.
Corey. And they still discharged him, correct?
Yeah, something to consider.
Now, you made a statement, or actually spoke to an investigator on or about April 8th, correct?
I can't recall. Oh, it was here, the 104? No.
You actually spoke to...
What year are you referring to?
2024.
Yeah, I'd have to hear it. I can't recall.
Do you remember speaking to a Detective Mitchell?
Yeah, yes.
And you had described for Detective Mitchell.
All right, we're coming to the top of the hour here. I want to bring back in our guest, trial attorney and law professor Joe Richardson is still with us. Joe, I want to get your thoughts on this one. As I mentioned earlier, it's an interesting scenario because this child is released at about 1 a.m. that same day in what is basically a clean bill of health. They said there were some marks and some bruises of various ages on him, but essentially he had a clean bill of health. Now he shows up here 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and this is what you see. He's with the father during that time. There's a lot to be, causation is still an issue, but there's a lot to be thought about the fact that we've seen a video of him mistreating his son, so that helps the state big time.
Yeah, it certainly helps the state. It doesn't necessarily help them that he is released with a clean bill of health several hours before, because in one interpretation, that allows the defense to play with the facts. You guys are saying that it's homicide, but he was fined 10 hours before. Jury's going to actually believe you have to kill him, plus that he actually killed him, plus the consulting forensic pathologist didn't come up with murder until homicide as the manner until several months later. So the defense has some things to play with here, but there's no question that it helps the prosecution that he seems to be abusive and seems to be abusive on camera and in a way that's inexplicable.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of a preemptive strike by the state. They had the emergency physician who saw him previously, earlier that day, and they asked him specifically, last 2 questions, were there any sign of infection, any sign of sepsis? And that's a preemptive strike because they know, based on opening statements from the state, that they're going to bring in a special medical examiner to say he died of pneumonia and sepsis. So those 2 things don't jive.
Right, for sure. And so, of course, I mean, I think the prosecution probably have an answer to every question here, but this is going to be a battle of the experts. It's going to be about their believability and does this get them all the way where they need to get? It's going to be interesting because the one expert's going to say homicide, the other one's going to say pneumonia, but if there's no evidence of that, then it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. That causation is the only area where I think the state has to really work a little harder. All right. Thanks, Joe Richardson, for being with me tonight. Joe, always a pleasure. I'm Michael Ayala. It's been a pleasure being with you folks. Thank you so much for being with me.